Okay, so today we are attempting the summary, text B. This is June 2024, paper 11, right? And we'll be reading the summary, then identifying the main points and also the short response question that follows. So before we look at what exactly we have to focus on for our summary, right, as I mentioned earlier, the first thing you want to do is read the text. Do not read the question first, right? Just read the text so that your brain is able to digest the information that is given, and then when you read it again to answer the question, it already knows the information that has been provided, and so it can process it better. So here's the text on screen. Let me just check. Right, so I'll need to scroll it later. Right, tell me when you guys are done with this part, and so I can scroll down. Okay, in fact, since we're missing some of it, I'll zoom in. Right, so that's that. We'll be able to fit the rest on screen later. Yeah, okay, so we're reading this in two parts, right? So get started and let me know when you're done. So I'll scroll to the next part. So here's the second part. Okay, so here's the question. Summarize the benefits and attractions of blogging according to text B. Right, and the rest is the usual, using continuous form, so that's when you're actually writing it. Use your own words as far as possible, so you have to rephrase it as much as possible. At least 70% of the text should be rephrased, and that is just like an experienced guess, right? Nowhere in the syllabus will, or in any textbook, you'll get that figure. So, right, avoid copying long sections of text, which basically means don't copy paste. You need to rephrase and also focus on the main points. Do not add details, right? No more than 150 words. So 150 is the limit. If you go over 150, anything you write beyond 150 will not be graded. You will not lose marks directly, as in there's no negative marking, but anything above 150 will not get you any marks. So, right, 10 marks for content, which are the content points. So you need 10 valid points for the benefits and attractions. And then 10 marks for quality of writing, which is the rephrasing, so using your own words, and the grammar and all of that. Okay, now as we know, we've just read, there is more content to this text other than just benefits and attractions, right? There's a bit of argument about whether it should be done by everyone, whether it has benefits, etc., etc. Right? So we're only focusing on these, and so let's go back and you guys tell me points to include. I will highlight them and then we'll talk about whether those are valid points or not, and also whether they are main points that we need to focus on, or perhaps they are details that, right, uh, we can ignore. So here's the first half again, and right, let me know which points you would include if, right, not when you are doing it. So right, while writing your summary, I have the highlighter ready, so let me know. Yeah, so I'm not going to like, or do I have to ask you guys individually? If you have a point that you think you'd include in the summary, just say it out.
Community action groups with make an
I'm sorry, your voice wasn't there. Could you repeat that? Haram, could you repeat what you said? Okay. Oh. Alright, Afin has suggested line 11. So, Afin, is this what you're talking about? Community action groups plugging together can make a noticeable difference? Is this the part? Okay, what about the rest of you? I heard someone unmute their mic and then go silent again.
I was saying the same line.
Okay, so we have sort of a consensus. I think Haram was suggesting this one as well. I heard something to, community something.
I was thinking the same way.
Oh, yeah, okay. So we have consensus on line number 11. What else?
Line number 20.
Line number 20. What part of line number 20?
The Outdoor Swimming Society.
The outdoor swimming society even includes a call to collect rubbish in and out of the water in its most recent swimming guide. Okay.
Line number 2.
Line number 2.
Yeah.
Not only unpleasant to look at, it's a reminder of how careless and inconsiderate people can be. Now, I would normally discuss this later, but just take a look at the question again. Is that line talking about any benefit or attraction of clogging?
No.
Then I would not include this. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the other half. Now, right, we'll see if there are any points that we missed from here, but right, just because you've got all this text doesn't mean that the points would be evenly distributed throughout. It can very well be that maybe there are more points in the first half than the other. Maybe there are more points in a certain paragraph and none in the other, or few in the other, right? So do not have this concept that, oh, I'm going to find 10 points evenly distributed throughout the text. No, they're not going to be that way, right? They might be concentrated in a certain part of the text and the others, right, maybe spread out. Okay, so what do we have from here?
Line 24. Going outside in nature makes you feel good.
Going outside in nature makes you feel good. Okay, and Afin is suggesting line 25, which I'm guessing time in nature improves heart rate, blood pressure, and even immune functioning. That's the one you're talking about. Okay. What about the others? Bakar, Ammar, and Abdul Hadi? Hmm?
Line 27, 28.
27, 28. Okay. From a medical standpoint, okay, it naturally emulates human body mechanics. So you want the whole of these two lines or any particular part of it?
Human body mechanics part.
Naturally emulates human body mechanics. Okay.
Line 31.
Line
Logging
30.
teaches children.
Logging teaches children the importance of looking after the local environment. Okay. Good. We're making some progress. So I believe we've got
34.
34. You can do it
Yeah.
anywhere, anytime, this part?
No, the other sentence. You can run a plugging
You
group
can run a blogging group and get your whole community involved.
or clean up in your local area.
Okay.
Line 41.
41. An effective fusion of exercise and environmental action. So we reached the end of the text very quickly. You want to take a look back and see whether you missed something, perhaps. Okay. All right, so Afin is suggesting this part. You can clean anywhere, anytime. So with that, let's see how much we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So after your collected efforts, you're still only at 9 points. We are 1 point less of our maximum score. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in this type of question, if you take a look at the mark scheme, you would have anywhere between maybe 11 and 13 points, more so like 12 or 13 points. And what you want to do, right? So any 10 of those 12 or 13 points are valid. Okay. Now, what you want to do is you want to try and find all of them. Okay, and the reason for that is, as and include all of them in your summary. So why do you want to do that when the maximum score you can get is only 10, and for example you've written 12 of them? And that's because if any of those points are incorrect and you lose, let's say, 4 marks, right? So you wrote 12 points and you lost 4 marks, right? You're still getting 8 out of 10 because they're going to check the number of valid points you have, not the total number of points you've written, right? So the total number of points you've written are 12, but the number of valid points you have are 8. So you get 8 out of 10, right? If you had all 12 of them as valid points, then the maximum you can get is 10. You're not going to get 11 or 12. But if you had only written 10, you can obviously do the math. You get 4 wrong, you have 6 out of 10. So, right, those extra points are a safety net for you. Now, let's take a look at these points again. Community action groups, plugging together regularly in area make a noticeable difference, right? So that is a valid point. The outdoor swimming society even includes a call to collect rubbish. Now, unfortunately, I believe this point is, yeah, it's not in the mark scheme, so I would remove this, right? It's not highlighting any benefit or attraction, right? Benefit and attraction. Benefit is, the plus side. Attraction is why you would want to do it. This point is giving me neither of those. So right now we're down to 8 points. Making you, right, going outside nature makes you feel good. That's a valid point. Time in nature improves heart rate, blood pressure. Now all of this is 1 point, right? You can just write any part of it. Time in nature improves heart rate, or time in nature improves health. You can write that overall. Saying that time in nature improves heart rate, blood pressure, even immune functioning does not constitute 3 different points. Just keep that in mind. So we have 3 valid points. The emulating human body mechanics is also valid, so that is a benefit. Teaching children the importance of the environment, again valid. You can do it anywhere, anytime. That is correct. We can run a plugging group. So now the plugging group part, given its right location, is not in the suggested points. So unfortunately, I have to, although I mean, it is a like seems like a benefit, right? Because you can join a cleanup in your area, so right, perhaps, but it's sort of also, but if you look at it another way, it's sort of similar to the one we removed about the outdoor swimming society giving the call, right? So it's not a direct benefit or attraction of plugging. So we remove that, and so we are down to how many? 7. The effective fusion part is correct. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So let's see what we missed out on. Okay, ever been running through the woods, notice litter, right? Unpleasant, how careless people are, deadly effects on. Okay. So this is the point suggested. It's a fitness trend that is rising in popularity. So we've got 1 over here, that brings us to 8. And then okay. Logging if only because the proven benefits of nature, being out in nature. So that,
Can we include number 16?
just a sec. Line number 16.
Yeah. It doesn't involve expecting someone else to clean up.
No, this is this paragraph is actually critical of blogging, right? So they're saying, why should I do blogging, right? When it's other people who are causing the litter. Okay. So another point we can sort of get is perhaps, right, this one. Now you'd argue, how is this relevant to the theme of the summary, right? And so knowing how we generally, on social media follow influencers, and so for me, an attraction of blogging would be because eco-minded influencers are doing it, and it says eco-minded influencers who I follow, right, are making, including that in their regular hikes or jogs or whatever. So that would be a point to include. So now how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, we're still short of 1. Now, if I take a look at the suggested points, and so at least 2 of the points that they've recommended, I think 3 of the points that they recommended are not given directly, right? They're sort of inferential, which is odd for a summary question, right? Normally they're points that are pretty, the explicit meaning type. So they are suggesting, oh, the litter is spoiling the natural scenery, so blogging would help improve the natural scenery or maintain the natural scenery, right? And then the deadly effects of rubbish on the ecosystem as well as wildlife, and so blogging would help improve or protect the ecosystem or wildlife, which is again, right, it's this paragraph is talking about the adverse effects of littering, right? But they're sort of inferring that if you do blogging, then you would alleviate these issues. You'd have your beautiful natural scenery again, you'd be helping the ecosystem, which I can argue as a teacher that it's not the way summaries tend to be for Cambridge itself, but then I can't argue with the mark scheme because that's what they've given, unfortunately, I would say. Okay. And then right, we mentioned fitness trend. We've talked about community action. Okay. And so this is one of the points that they've included. Small efforts can add up to tackle a massive problem. So this is a point they've included as a separate point that helps solve a big problem. So now we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're still missing one. Which one are we missing? They've suggested 13. I don't know. I'm unable to figure out which one you're missing. Anyway, right? So let's say we got these 12 points. Now we know these 12 points are correct. Do we need to trim them? Right? Do these points include any additional information that we would want to leave out? So again, these 2 points, right, sort of roundabout. Fitness trend, okay. Community action, this. So the only point I believe we can sort of cut down is this one, right? And just mention that influencers are also actively taking part in it, right? Or they're doing it. So now we have our points. So I'm going to assign this on Google Classroom. So what your homework is, would obviously be rephrasing those points, putting them together as a proper paragraph. After rephrasing them, they should be organized, they should make sense, there should be a flow, and then put it all together as a summary of no more than 150 words. Okay. And remember, when you're doing a summary, every word counts. If it is a word, like even the and an and the, it all counts, right? So this, 2-letter words or 3-letter words everything counts. If it's a word in the English language, it's going to be counted. Now, can it be less than 150 words? Yes, it can. I would suggest at least doing 135. Right? It doesn't have to be exactly 150. It can be less. Again, I mentioned going over is not going to help you because it won't be graded. But yeah, don't try to make it like too short, unless like you're super summarizing. You're really good at writing a summary, and you end up writing something in like 115, 120 words, and you've just got this really concise pack. It works. I'm not saying it won't work, but you want to utilize at 150, right? Just make it work well. Okay, if there are any questions regarding the summary, then obviously, right, you can ask. I'm moving on to the short response. Now, Haram, the paragraph that you mentioned, right, the one about, right, expecting other people to use their free time to pick up the mess, and I mentioned this is critical of blogging, and this is where it's going to come in handy, right? That and perhaps some other points. So imagine you are environmental camper Anna Ruiz, right? So it's sort of role play. Now, who's Anna Ruiz, right? The person who's being critical over here, environmental campaigner Anna Ruiz. So imagine you are this person. You are giving a talk to a local community group about how to deal with the problem of litter in their area. Okay. Someone in the audience asks you a question. Give your answer to their question using information from the text. Okay. The question is, the best way to deal with the problem of litter in this area is to encourage more people to go plogging. What is your opinion? Why? Now, see, they've given over here Anna Ruiz's answer. So the first step, right, you want to do is put yourself in that person's shoe, go and look at the text and understand what this person's opinion is going to be. Right? So let's see if you're being told that blogging is the solution, right? Based on what the information we have over here, right? What would this person say? Is it the solution or not? Yes or no? Anyone? What would
No.
you're saying no?
It would be no, cause like
Okay, what about the rest? No. Bakar and Amariza?
No.
Okay,
No.
so we have consensus that this person is going to disagree with this comment, right? And so that's the opinion. So 5 marks. The first mark you're going to get is for stating your opinion. Now you can clearly state it as yes, I agree that blogging is beneficial, or no, I disagree with that approach. Clearly saying yes or no, or if you're more technical about your approach, you can say it in a roundabout way, right? Although it is a popular activity, it does not have the benefits that people suggest or are widely promoted. So I didn't exactly say no, but I did. Okay, it might have benefits, but it's not the kind of activity I would promote, or it's not this, as it is promoted. So you're going to disagree, right? So the first point, the first mark you're going to get is for your disagreement. How are you going to get the remaining 4 marks? You need 2 evidences from the text to support why your opinion is a disagreement to blogging. And then for each of those points, you're going to detail them or explain them, right? So sort of stretch them out. So what lines do you think you'll be taking from the text to support your disagreement?
line number 20.
Line number 20.
Line number 16.
Line number 16. Right. So obviously there are ways to improve without expecting someone to, deal with your mess. How would and then how would you expand on this?
Like that we should clean up our own mess and
You could say that you should clean up your own mess. You could talk about uh, responsibility, right? Being responsible, having self responsibility and awareness. And obviously, right, it's not right to sort of push this on others. There's a suggestion for line 15. And what part of that? Let me just see. Consumption habits, right? So that as well. Our consumption habits are the problem, right? So the reason why there's so much. So, Afin, how would you expand on that? Right? That is detail or evidence to support your opinion. How will you elaborate? Right. So being mindful when buying stuff that would end up as litter. So that is valid, right? And so there are, I believe, one or two more points. Also, not from this particular paragraph, right? So we're focusing on this particular paragraph. There are one or two points, maybe 3 points that are not from this paragraph, and so right again I'll be assigning this as homework for you guys, where you're going to write out the short response, your opinion. We've talked about that. The details to support your opinion, so those could be the ones you've discussed here, or read through the text and see wherever I'll give you a hint, right? Wherever they're highlighting the reason why plugging needs to be done, right? Plugging is good, but why do you have to do it in the first place, right? So there is a underlying problem because of which plugging is being promoted. This person, Anna Ruiz, is saying no, plugging is not the solution because we need to talk about the underlying problem. So any point, other point, if you want to, you can go through the text again and find those underlying points to give as examples or details to support your opinion. And then, so you need two of those, and right, then elaborate each detail that you give. And so that will give you your 5 marks. So 1 mark for your opinion, 2 marks for the details, and 2 marks for the elaboration of each detail. And you get your 5 marks. And we're done for today. Are there any questions?
no.
Right. So again, I'll be putting this up on Google Classroom. This will be your homework until next class, next week. Right. Tomorrow we'll be going into directed writing. So that will end up as your homework as well. We'll do the discussion in class, and then the actual writing part will be your homework. How many points to develop a short response? As I mentioned, right? Opinion, 2 points, 2 details from the text to support your opinion, and for each detail you need to offer an explanation or elaboration, right? What that how that detail from the text supports your opinion. Okay, what that detail from text means. So as if you mean how many points in the text, two points. If you're going to include more than 2 points, you will not get more marks, right? The maximum marks you're going to get for that are 2. Any other questions? I'll take that as all clear. So that's all for today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, inshallah.
Allah
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.